Hello, good evening, and welcome to my channel. I have a feeling I've got this wrong because I was scheduled to go on at 7 o'clock, and I don't know whether anybody's going to find me or not. So I apologise if you're not finding me because I couldn't figure out how to get onto YouTube. So I'm still fiddling about with buttons, guys. So if anybody's got any advice and guidance on how I'm supposed to press the thing and get myself going. There we go. There we go. Hi guys, welcome. I'll just see if I'm on the right space now. Can any if there's yeah, can anybody hear me? If there's anybody out there listening, let me know that something's going on because I'm pressing all sorts of wrong buttons here. Please let me know if there's anybody out there. One watching, it's probably me. I don't know which one to switch off now. That's the strange thing. This will look right professional in the morning, won't it? If anybody. Hi guys, I don't know what is actually going on here, so I'm hoping that somebody will tune in and put me right, maybe with where I'm going. If not, I'll edit it at the end and I shall put it um, onto YouTube after that. It's been a weird old day today. It's been very strange. I've not really known what's going on. It's been an odd one with the energies. I'm plagued with spammers and scammers again, and I've been struggling a little bit to process things. I've just come off a reading, and I'm still not convinced I'm actually on the right bit here. So, say if there's anybody out there watching and they're joining and you're late to the broadcast, and they want to give me some instructions on where I should be. There we go. Hi, all right. So people are starting to come in. Yeah, sorry about that, Patricia. What happened was that I set the thing up to schedule on YouTube, and I do all of my work from StreamYard. So when I went onto YouTube to press the button to actually get things started, I couldn't figure out how to press play. I'm not quite sure what was going on. So the messages may well have disappeared because they've gone from I maybe stopped. I'm hoping because it's telling me I'm still live, so I'm hoping that it's still running live. So as long as you can hear me, then I'm hoping that everything's okay. So if you can just let me know that you can actually hear me, because I think the scheduled live that I was supposed to be doing, for some reason I've pressed the wrong button. So if you can just let me know that you can hear me loud and clear, because I think my volume button's up. And we'll just have a general chat. Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Appreciate that. And then if anybody else wants to join, I'll just put my hands up to where it's gone wrong. I think it's symptomatic of the day. I put on there about dealing. Good evening, Leanne. I put on there about dealing with spammers, scammers, and jammers. That was me. That was me thing. Because I thought, well, we all know about scammers and spammers when we're on Facebook because we seem to be plagued by them. YouTube's not so bad, so I thought I'd come on here and clear my head a little bit. But I was also thinking about energy jammers, as in people that aren't good to you, that aren't good for you. And I just thought I'd see if anybody else was feeling along the same sort of lines. I think the energy at the moment is absolutely crazy. I've spent so much time and energy recently planning and plotting for events, for readings, for working with people's energies, strategies and things like that. And I thought I'm just like going along on a nice even keel, on a nice level. And then over these last couple of days, and somebody said it's something to do with this Lionsgate portal, everything now seems to be on quicksand. I had so much stuff that's just gone from underneath me, a lot of stuff cancelled. So what I was going to talk about was my feelings with it. I'm very mindful of watching quite a lot of other people's stuff on it. So I mentioned about the Fitness Hutch a lot. And I also look at Gemma's pages who deals with autism. And it's been inspiring to watch how she deals with people. She doesn't let it go very far with people that are not very good with your energies. And she gets people shifted and got rid of really, really quickly. And I've gone, right, so I should be working along them lines to get stuff cleared quicker. But do you know, when you consider yourself in inverted commas just a normal everyday bloke, and you sit there and you watch and somebody says something to you and you go, rah, rah, I'm reacting, I'm jumping straight in with 2-footed. I know it's not the best thing to always do is to give the people the response that they're looking for. But if you've got that about you where you want to jump in and you want to defend yourself, that's quite hard at 51 years of age to turn round and change that process overnight. So I've been looking at myself quite intensely about how I work and how I perceive myself and what my energy's like. So I've said to so many people about dealing with yourself like you would deal with somebody else. How would you treat somebody else? How would you look after their best will? And how would you help them understand themselves? Would you be compassionate or would you shout at them? Would you expect good results from bullying or pushing people? And I'm going, right, so number one lesson I've learned over the last few weeks is I need to be kinder to myself and not put so much pressure on myself. Another thing I've learned is about working through with things at a speed that I can cope with. Number three that I've learned is about dealing with me at whatever level that I'm at. And it's, you know, if I get up in the wrong frame of mind, then it's no good bullying me and expecting me to be flying on all cylinders, because it's not realistic and it's not going to happen. The next thing I'm looking at is, like, I've got depression and anxiety in my background, right? And the anxiety that I've been feeling recently has been peak, right? And this is the thing where I want to start expanding on this program, right? That today I've been in a high state of anxiety. You'll maybe pick it up in my voice and the fact that I'm stuttering and stammering. But, and this is what I want to show people, I have been in that state for no really good reason. It's just been the energy around me. I was supposed to be going out tonight to do an event and it got cancelled at the last moment. I've had 2 shows cancelled in the last few days. And that started to put things into my head, like, where am I not going in the right direction? What is it that I'm not picking up on? Anyway, I've decided today that I'm just going to go with the flow, that I'm still dealing with that anxiousness, but I'm not trying to rub it out and I'm not trying to hide from it. You watch Gemma's channel, because it was a panel last night and a channel in general, and you watch that, and she doesn't hide from her autism. You know, if she's got a reaction to something, she doesn't try and rub it out. She's conscious of the fact when she's doing things and she wants to challenge it, by all means, but she doesn't try and rub it out. And I think to a certain extent, that's what I've wanted to do, because I always think lead by example with people. You know, teach them the way, and then once you teach them the way, that they can adapt that and suit that to themselves. So today has been particularly difficult for me. But what I found really, really frustrating is that there's no fact, there's no logic, because I'm a logic-minded person when it comes to dealing with my everyday life. So I look at my life, and if there's a problem there in front of me, I will then strategize to take that out of the way. The anxiety that I've been feeling today, it felt honestly like I have been plugged into the mains. I'm sat there and my skin was crawling. The energy was just very, very uncomfortable. And I'm like, wow, what is this all about? And I'm looking for reasons why this is all happening. The analytical mind's gone into overload. Right, what is going on? What am I not getting right? What am I not understanding? And maybe this is what with all of this, it gives you a platform to stand on where you can talk to other people. And when you start to read comments where people are saying, right, I you know, I've had to withdraw from some people, and then I had the psychic attack the other week. It is so uncomfortable that sometimes there isn't a strategy for it. So, I mean, even, and I've started to notice that when I sit with clients draw to me whatever state I'm in. And this is where I say to anybody that's learning this or new to this craft, that just be you. Right, just be honest, just be straightforward, just be you, because people will draw to you in that state, because essentially they're not really interested in how you're feeling. They're connecting in with your energy and connecting in with that feeling and that vibration that you're sending out to people. Hi, Serendipity. Yeah, apologies for the lack of direction here. I've just gone all over the place and I couldn't figure out the text. So I've started a new one and we've just gone with that, and we'll just see how this goes. So when I started out with this program, I was just going to do like readings and guidance and things like that. But I want to push and publicize my way of working with people, right? I love and I'm passionate about doing card readings and that, and working with mediumship. But on here, that is not my main drive. I know people can connect with me on StreamYard and things like that and have private readings. But on here, I kind of want to put myself up for people that are struggling with their mental health, struggling with their actual direction in life, and just go, right, you're not on your own. Right. The struggles are very real. Right. But this thing that I always say to clients when I'm working with them, when I'm in one of these sort of states myself, is that, and then what? I've just come back from Stafford last weekend, which was an incredible experience, right? I've gone down there kind of like by default. I wasn't originally scheduled to be down there, but things came into play which allowed me to go down there and read. And it's a beautiful venue. It's an absolutely stunning place to work. The energies are absolutely lovely. And I thought, well, it's one of them. I'm on a winner. All right. So I went down there, helped set up the venue on the Friday. And then on the Saturday, I read and did working with people's energies. On the Saturday afternoon at 4:00, hi, Lady of the Lake. Hope you're well. So I went into the talk room at 4:00, and we closed at 5, and mine was the last talk on, so I was the show closer. What it actually was it was billed as a demonstration, but also working with my story from the prison service, my battles with this, that, and the other. So what I found with it was, when I went in there, it's a story I've told many, many times before, but I'm nonetheless passionate no matter how many times I delivered it. And I went in there and the talk room at 4:00 was packed, which is even though I've delivered it so many times, it's such a thrill. And I want to do more of that work live. I'm not going to keep coming on every week and boring you all with the same story by any means. But where my passion lies is you watch the Fitness Hutch, you watch Gemma's page, and they've got a theme. They've got a way of putting themselves across. Now, I'm quite happy to turn cards over for anybody that wants one, because that's what being a spiritual medium is all about. But what I also want to do is put myself up as a spokesman for people that don't traditionally think, that might have an alternative way of thinking, that might have issues with their anxiety, might have issues with depression, but have a tendency when they're faced with that wall of fear or discomfort where they stop and go to ground. So as a spiritual counselor that is trained to look at all aspects of things, my reply to everybody that I work with, no matter what your story is and then what? What are we going to do after that fact? So anxiety, it comes up there, it grabs me, it's bitten me by the arse over the last couple of days. Right, that is an accepted fact. The next thing to say to myself is, right, okay, and then what? What am I going to do with that? So I came from being on that Saturday, vibration, energetically really, really high, really enjoyed myself. Good setup for that first half of the weekend. Came in Sunday, the buzz was even bigger. It was busier. There was a lot more people. Learned that I can't, as much as I'd love to, read for everybody. There are certain people out there that you have to turn around and pass on to other people with more expertise. I think it's the first time I've encountered anybody in a private sitting where I've felt that working in a spiritual manner wasn't appropriate. There was that part of me that wanted to soldier on and help that person through their difficulties, because at the end of the day, I'm an empath. But discretion there was saying, this person needs more help than I've actually got the ability to give. So I gave her so long while I listened and I processed what she was saying, and then I stopped. So no money changed hands, because I didn't think it would have been appropriate, but quite equally, I just didn't want her to feel abandoned. But I was kind of lost. I didn't know what was best. So I basically went inside for a few seconds and asked my guides and inspirers, and it was like somebody shutting the portal. There was no more information coming through. So I just took that as, right, let's cut the link, like you would do when you're working in any spiritual message, to cut the link, because anything else would have been my thoughts, and I'd already given my thoughts that I wasn't up to that mark with it. So I moved the lady on. I made sure that she was safe and that she was okay. And there was no ill feeling one way or the other. But I will not work with ego. I will not work where I am blagging people. And this is where I sort of put out about the spammers, the scammers, and the energy jammers, because I expect that from people around me as well. I've just come off of a reading for somebody who was brilliant, because he was sat there and he was open. Right? He trusted me enough to give me all of the information that he needed to pass on, and we worked with what was going on around him, and it was a successful reading. But if he'd have needed more specialized help, like, I'm an intuitive spiritual worker, but I am not qualified in certain techniques and things like that. So I don't blag people. I don't tell lies. I tell the truth. It's like when I get on here, it's a surreal experience when you sit there in front of an audience that you can't actually see. But I love it, because I want to inspire people to realize that even if you've got X, Y, Z, that you can still sit in front of people and give across a version of yourself. It helps with the anxiety that I feel, that I've got 6 years of experience behind me, so that not everybody needs to know that. Because it's always frustrated me when I've watched other people on there that are like really, really talented, and then they come and have a meltdown on the screen, and then they're telling everybody how to live the life. Right. So this I was very mindful of. So what I wanted to do, and what this was all about today, was to come on here and say that I'm not affected in the way that I work, but in my very real life, this high level of anxiety, this high level of new energy, is very realistic. It is around me, and it's not easy to deal with, but it won't deter me, because this, I believe, is my pathway in life. So I wanted to be out there for people to pass on my knowledge, and then say, right, you're not on your own, because there's so many talented people out there. Hiya Fortune Cookies, there's so many. Hiya Annabelle, there is so many people out there with skills and talents, but what they need is encouragement. What they need is that push. What they need is somebody who stands by them, that's been through it. We can't be an expert on everything, but every time I get the opportunity to come on here and speak, I will do. Yeah, do you know what? I don't know. You've been in this country, so you might recognise Blackadder Fourth. That came through to me in the voice from Stephen Fry there, darling. So just talking in general at the moment, the idea is to do a few cards or just some general chit chat. But I would say, when I was watching the other channels the other night, I thought, what am I going to bring in that's different? What am I going to do that's different to other people? And I realised that by just being your own self, that you're doing something different to everybody else. If you're going out there and you're trying to copy, then you're going to fall short. I mean, it's like tonight, I should have more people on here, because I'd set up the stream thing on YouTube, but I got it wrong. I didn't know what buttons to press, so I've had to come through on the route that I know what I'm doing. But I'm a big believer that the people that are meant to be on here will be on here, and the supporters will come through, and hopefully it'll all get shared and it'll all turn out right in the end. Because I did a 10-minute video this afternoon, and I was pressing all of the wrong buttons. And when I played back, it came up on YouTube, and there was just me sat there with a pencil in my mouth going, what the F has gone on this channel? Because I don't know where I'd come in from. So even with all of that in my background, it is like to say that the honesty, the integrity of coming on here and wanting to help people, and the desire to inspire people. I do find it frustrating with these spammers and scammers, because I don't know how to get around it. I had a lady that was nearly put off from having a reading from me, because she looked at my reviews on Facebook, and one of the spam ones that I'd missed was talking about spell casting and this, that, and the other. I don't have any allegiance to that sort of stuff, because I don't understand it, right? And it's like with anything on here. If somebody asks me out something direct and says, is that your way of working? Talk to me first, because I'll always tell you no. I am Ron Seal. I do exactly what it says on the tin. Spirit have been amazing with me. That they've had the patience to give me the opportunities to work in the way that I do. What I've always been is that support in the background for people. I have this way of reading people, reading their energies. So I bring that in. The cards, what I use, is what I've been taught. Right. So, and then when I get to the edge of what I've been taught, then I get to the point of I'm using what spirit are bringing in and around me. And I trust that whatever's being used is the appropriate tool to deal with that person that I'm dealing with. I don't know whether you call it law of attraction, or whether you call it just that energy connection. The people that are meant to be there will be there. So I want to help lift people that lack confidence. And I know that I can do that because I've come from that place. I want to help people that have had depression and anxiety, because I've come from that place. So when I say to people, I feel it, I don't just feel it, I know it. But it's like today, where I'm talking to you guys out there, the energy that I've had around me over this last, I should say, probably week, that I've been holding off. I don't understand it. I don't know. There's people talking about Lions Gate and things lining up and things like that. I'm on this planet, in this room, in Lincoln, in a house, on a housing estate, and I don't get it. Right? I'm sat there and I'm going for all of the skills and all of the plans and all of the things that I put in place, all of the experiences that I've had these last few days have just upskittled and thrown things up in the air. Lots of things cancelled. I was supposed to be out tonight at a reading event, cancelled very last minute. I was supposed to be doing a couple of shows in the next couple of minutes. In the next couple of weeks, cancelled very last minute. And I've had to put things into my mind. I've just gone, right, I'm not going downhill with this because there's still ongoing work. There is still work that needs to be done. There is still things that need strategizing and putting in place. And I've put out this thing. I always talk to the universe, and I put out to the universe, yes, at the minute, I'm feeling very uncomfortable. But have I been knocked down before? Yes. Have I been knocked down more than once? Yes. But what the universe needs to recognize, and all of these people that throw stuff at me that makes me uncomfortable need to recognize, my record this far on at 51 years old is getting up is 100% consistent. That don't matter how many times I get knocked, I'm stubborn. I've got these things in my mind that I want to help and I want to lift people. At the minute, I'm in a place of what I was taught in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, that I'm in a place of unconscious incompetence because I don't know all of the answers. So when I'm working, I've got an idea or a feeling, but I haven't got all of the structure and strategy. The work that drives me in my heart space is working with people to give them the tools to enable them to go out and inspire people. So imagine that you're going into a difficult situation and there's 2 or 3 of you. What you need when you go in there to deal with that as a unit, and I can only talk about what I know. So going into into a difficult situation in the prison service where you're going in an arrowhead formation, you're only as good as the 2 people that are supporting you. So that is what I provide when I go in with people, is going, right, I'm not saying I'm a magician. I've had some fantastic comments just recently. So the feedback has been incredible. Gifts. People have bought me presents. It's been amazing. But I'm an ordinary guy. But I tell you what, I'm 100% guaranteed that I'm in your corner. If you've been drawn to me, then the idea is to help you towards self-empowerment. So when I get personally attacked or doubted or anything like that, yeah, I do react. Because I'm not making excuses. But what I've found as well is to be a little bit forgiving towards myself. So think about it this way. So I went and did an event the other week where there was 73 people in the room, I think. By the end of it, a few people had left. I felt horrible because I didn't know how I'd contributed to that. I didn't know whether I'd said something wrong or I'd put it across in the wrong way, or people doubted my validity, or whether they just weren't entertained, or whatever it was, right? Once I spoke to the people who truthfully know what was going on, they went, well, that was just them. That was their free will decision. And everybody's got that free will decision. Yeah, you can pay to go to a show, but you don't have to stop till the end. So I accepted that, right? But as I'm driving home, the other thing that I also accepted is that my feelings have been hurt, right? And I've lived with me for 51 years. So when my feelings are hurt, I've learned you don't bury them. You don't push them down, and you don't say it's okay when it's not. So I go home and I speak to my lovely wife, who is the font of all knowledge. Hi, and here's right. I'm just going to put this lady up because we are. I don't know when you tuned in, Gemma, because I've got a little bit lost in. I was listening to you talking the other night about anxiety and things like that, where how you process stuff. So I've got a little bit lost, but I was just using you as an example. This lady is absolutely incredible. You know, she's very real. You know, when she talks about stuff that's going on in her life, it's very, very real. You know, she acknowledges when she feels that she's not done things in the right way, but she finds a way of dealing with them. And this is what I was talking about. So when I got home and I spoke to my wife, and she puts it all right, she puts it into perspective and said that out of 70 odd people, that if 10 people walked out, you're concentrating on the 10 people or the 1 people that walked out, then that's it's a bit counterproductive to yourself. And I went, right, okay, I accept that. Don't focus on the 1%, or even in that case, the 10% that's decided to not believe in you. But I made a point, and I say this to you guys out there listening, and I believe this is valid, right? If your feelings have been hurt, if you're sensitive, right, then you still need that time to process that hurt and that pain. That where you feel you've been slighted or mocked or something of that nature, you still need that time to process it. So what I said to my wife was, right, thank you for your advice and guidance, because it's always needed and it's always spot on and on point. But just for 2 hours, right, and that's what I allowed myself. I've rationed it to 2 hours. I need to process that my feelings have been hurt, right? And that's for my own self-protection. And I think it's not always a good thing, but it's I suppose it's a good thing to keep you grounded, right? Because not everybody in the world in our normal life likes us. They've got that choice whether to interact with us or not. It's just that when you're doing something like this, where you're live, when you're going out on stage, whether you're performing a service that involves the public, you've got your head above the parapet. And if you've got your head above the parapet, you have to be prepared that you may well be shot at, right? And again, I accept this. I take that fully on the chin. I accept this. However, it is still painful. It is still difficult. I looked at my great mate Paul when he was talking the other night on Discord, when we go on the Discord, that he'd got a knock because of this scammer. He'd processed it by the end of the day and put it where it needed to be. And the correct response is to just chuck it in the F-it bucket and move on. However, in that intervening time, before you make that as your strategy, you've still got to deal with that bit in the middle. Because if you come on here and you're hardened and you're like very bolshy and pushy and things like that, people will see straight through you. But also, if they look at you and they think you're a bit of an easy touch, they're going to take the piss, right? I'll tell you that I'll react, but you'll not see me doing it on screen in that way where I'm having a meltdown, because I've been through so much difficulties in my life. And the idea behind all of this work is to help inspire people to find their inner confidence. So I love watching Gemma's channel. She's got over 5,000 followers there. It's absolutely incredible. 5,200, I think it was when I was watching the other night. And for me, I can aspire to be there. I haven't got a condition that I'm aware of at the moment. Maybe I have. I don't know. The way that I think is not conventional. But she had to start somewhere. So that means that when she started from somewhere, she's had to go through all of this crap, right? The more popular she gets, she'll get a higher level of crap, because there'll be more people out there that want to join in and throw, I don't know, throw things at you that they're not experienced at. They just want a rise. And then if they get a rise, but Gemma deals with it, but she's open and honest with it. So I thought the same with this way of working on here. Not everybody will get me, but I promise you, if you come and interact with me on my channel, you come and look at my YouTube, my Facebook stuff there, where I do readings for people and things like that, that I am what I say I am. Now, if I haven't got anything, I will happily sit when I'm doing a reading for somebody at an event or something like that. If I've got nothing and it's not making any sense, I will stop the reading. I would rather that person go away with honesty than go away full of fluff or crap or anything like that. I just sit here and I am what I am. And that came about because I was doing a reading for somebody, and she came up to me, and it was in the tone. I think everybody's tone tells you what you're going to have to deal with in that next few minutes. And she said, "So what do you do?" And looked at me, and I went, "Don't know. Truthfully, don't know." She went, "Well, that's not very helpful, is it?" I went, "Well, I'm just me." Right. So I now sit in front of a banner that says, I am what I am. I do what I do. I'm just me. Because my belief is such that when I do connect with people's energies, there's a reason. You know, I don't have people that come to me personally for random general readings. There's usually a reason. And if I've got a reputation for anything, it's for honesty, integrity, and I think bluntness. So when people come to me, I don't know whether that's part of an autistic trait, but that's what they get from me. And I don't hide away from that. I will, and I'll be honest with this, when I get home at times, just go, oh God, that filter could have been a little bit better there. But also my belief system is that if that was that bad, then spirit, the universe, or whatever it is that you want to believe in will stop me. So I was supposed to be going to do an event next week, and all of the arrangements were made, and then it was cancelled because the Catholic side of the team that run this place decided that this brand of work that was being advertised wasn't suitable. Right, I accept that. I don't understand it, but I accept that. So what you will find with me, I don't get involved in politics. I don't get involved in religion or anything like that, and not getting involved in judgment of anybody's way of doing things. I talk about being your bald-headed Jiminy Cricket, that I'm sat there, I'm your voice of conscience. And being that voice of conscience, I am enthusiastic about your life 100%. Right? I want to hit your problems head on. So if you're struggling with any doubts or anxieties or anything like that, I am fully equipped to go into a war with you and go into a battle with you. But this is like with anything, there's a price to pay. You have to match my level of enthusiasm for your life. So lots of people have pre-prepared reasons why they can't do this, they can't do that and the other. And I'll accept that, right? I accept that. I don't have an issue with that. But what I'm trying to get across to people more and more and more when I'm standing up and I'm talking to people, if you give yourself enough reasons that you can't, shouldn't, won't, don't be able to move forward, then stop there. Put a full stop underneath it. Just go, right, okay, I accept that. Because if you don't, you're going to spend a lot of your life's hours going round and round in circles because you've told yourself that you can't do something, you shouldn't do something, you wouldn't do something. Right, then accept that. But don't expect yourself to be able to be in a position 3 months down the line where you brought in all of these wonderful changes, because they're not going to happen. You're not being realistic. So this is why when I put myself out here, I'm honest. I say that if there is a realistic obstacle to me going on to whatever pathway that I want to go on, what is it? Right? Am I going to challenge it? Am I going to do anything about it? So, like Gemma's putting on here, I'm not going to keep highlighting this, but she's put on there that she has an anxiety disorder. Right. But she's aware she's got that. And yet she still comes on and she does the work that she's got to do. She does the work because her passion's there. Right. She knows that she wants to progress forward. She knows she's got obstacles. Very real obstacles, but she still persists on down that pathway because she knows there's something else the other side of it. And what I found with a lot of people just recently is what they're tending to do is they are looking to rub out the parts of themselves that they don't consider palatable. And this is what I've learned the hard way. Right, I accept. So today has not been a good day anxiety wise, but I don't know why, right? Because there's nothing going on other than the fact that a couple of events have been cancelled. There's no other thoughts. I've had a lovely day because I've been out for dinner with a wife. We've gone round a garden centre, which always relaxes me. I've had an amble round. I've had plenty of cups of tea, and yet I'm in a state of anxiety. And yet there is nothing, and I mean nothing, going on. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not plotting or planning, so there's nothing attached to it. And yet I thought, well, I was supposed to be going out tonight, cancelled at the last minute. I was supposed to be doing a number of readings, and that's not happened. This is where I've got to learn, is that there's something else coming in place. So I've just finished a reading with a wonderful gentleman. I very rarely read for blokes these days, but I read for him, and it makes it all worthwhile, because you start to understand that somebody out there needs what you've got, just needs to stand there while you talk through whatever they're experiencing. Now, they've got the choice whether they accept that advice and go out there and do something with it, or they accept that what they're dealing with currently is where they're going to stay until they decide to make those changes. Now, it doesn't matter whether he's got anxiety, depression, whether, Taurus is in Uranus, Mercury retrograde. Until he decides that there's something more for him out there to experience, he will stay in that loop. So same thing with every reading that I do with people. And then what? Okay, because we've all got our stories. We've all got our backstories. So when people ask me, what do I do? The answer still remains the same. After 6 years of reading for people, I have a set of skills at my fingertips, all hard earned, a lot of it life skills. And so I put on my advert the other day, I am qualified as a hypnotherapist, but I don't do hypnotherapy. I work with the energy of hypnotherapy, but I don't do any specific like cures, if you like. I am a qualified NLP practitioner, and NLP changed my life because it helped me get into people's heads and work with their psychology. I have trained up to a certain level as understanding mental health concerns, as well as having my own, but I am not qualified. I have done many hours of practice reading psychic and working with the tarot, all of which you can be trained to do, because my belief system is that everybody out there has at least a percentage of being psychic. It depends on what you do with it. Mediumship is slightly different, because it's like having a feed coming through from an outside source, and to get that feed from the outside source takes practice of knowing how you receive that energy. Once you know how to receive that energy, you've also got to learn the skill of giving it off. So because I'm not an overcomplicated person, all I do is just go, right, it's that, and give it and pass that on to the person. That has took, well, in fact, 9 years up to this point to get so that I'm in that place here and now. What I was dealing with the other day when I was at the show was out of my league. So then I look to people that I know are more experienced in what it wasn't a perceived shortfall. It was a shortfall. I would follow up and see how that person had got on and whether I'd sent it to the right person. But I wasn't that person. And I think a lot of it is not dealing with any guilt, not worrying that you've got it wrong. Because all of you spiritual workers out there are amazing, right? There is so much going on with the world's energy that I truthfully don't understand. I'm just feeling it. I know that we're in the middle of a war, right? I know that there are sides out there that aren't willing to compromise, aren't willing to listen. I truthfully, hand on heart, believe that we're going to come through with it, that we're going to come the other side of it. But it's like with any war, don't matter how you pitch it, there's going to be casualties. There are going to be people that are not going to understand. And I just think a lot of what's going on around social media, the world itself, is distractions. Do I know what the answers are? Absolutely not. So I'm doing my little bit, right? I'm coming on, I'm being honest, I'm doing the work that I need to do on my own inner being, my own healing work. I am doing my best to keep cash going around the system because it feels right. I'm doing my best to not get drawn into this sort of political posturing. I don't even want to have an opinion because that feels wrong. All of this thing that undermining traditional family values. I've got my opinion, but it doesn't serve anything or anybody for me to keep airing that. So I work through with that. Sometimes you just work on biting your fingers so you don't open your mouth and say something inappropriate. But I watched somebody last night, very, very briefly on YouTube, that was saying that Mother Earth keeps all of our energy. When we get rid of it, it goes somewhere. At some point, if we're keeping it around us or in our environment where we live or close to where we are, that's got to go somewhere. So we've got to deal with it. So rather than keep shoving crap energy down or stale energy down into Mother Earth, I look at, right, I'll deal with it. And I'm finding it difficult. So the 3 words beginning with W: what's happening, why is it happening, when will it happen? Answer time will give you the replies to the 3 words. Hope everyone is doing okay. Yeah, thanks, Joel. I appreciate that. I'm not in that stage where I'm questioning everything. I'm just not understanding. But this is, so for anybody who doesn't know my background, I'll just put that up. Dizzy, thanks for turning up. Don't worry, I totally cocked up the thing on here, and I thought I was talking to myself, at one bit. So don't worry in the slightest. I've just come on here for a bit of a chat, and if anybody wants a card, I'll pull a card. It's just the theme of today is all about the scammers, the spammers, and the energy jammers, and I'm just looking at improving the quality of the content that I put on, because I'm at that stage where I'm starting this off. I've got up to nearly 140 subscribers. I think we're on 139, and for me, I'm chuffed to bits. But like with all of these people on here that have got into the thousands, they've all had to start somewhere. So I'm so grateful that people come in. And plus, the other thing is, it's nice when you've got somebody to let your energy go to as well, that's on that sort of wavelength. And I just think sometimes you just need somebody to bounce off, if that makes sense. But I mean, I'm not in the negative. I did all of my negativity in the prison service. I came through that. And say what came out tonight while I was reading for somebody, it's 10 years, nearly 10 years since I left that job. And I am still learning things that happened in there and finding a place to put them. It's not easy, right? But what the experiences that I've had. So I've structured that September the 30th last year, I started my business on my own. I finished one contract and I let some labouring go. And I was terrified, right? Because I've got the belief in myself when the work's there, right? When the work's there and I've got somewhere to go and exhibit and do that, I don't worry about going on stage. You get that sort of jitters, but I don't worry about it. If I'm working at a show, I don't worry about that. It's the space where I haven't got work that is always my enemy. How I manage my mind is very, very important in that moment, because I get agitated. And when I get agitated, I fill my mind full of crap. So I've took steps on how to deal with that. But in what are we now? So we're sort of mid-August. So that's 6 weeks away. I'm confident that I will reach that 6-week point in my first year in business, right? And from where I started from, and the anxiety and the real stomach churning nerves and worry to get to that point is going to be huge. I've stood on stage at a theatre, and that was an ambition that I've had since I was a little boy. Okay, I didn't have a big audience and not everybody got me, but I achieved an aim. So I ticked that off. So that is a fantastic feeling. I've worked in front of an audience of over 100 people. And again, when you're not very comfortable with dealing with crowds and social situations, to do that in front of 130 people and get clapped off and applauded, that is an incredible achievement. So when people get stuck into what if, and if that happens, how will I cope and how will that happen? Just look at what it's took to get you to that point and what you've overcome and how you've achieved what you've achieved. So let's say in my what if land, which is not something that I really deal with anymore, because I don't see the point in looking for what if instance, because I deal with it now in the present moment. But let's say, just theoretically, I get to me 6 week point there, and that's the end of my business. I don't think it will be for a second, but let's say that it was. Do you know what I'd do? Truthfully, I'd turn round and I'd offer a kiss out, you know, a gratitude prayer or something like that to the universe and say, bless you, thank you. What an experience that year's been, because I've not picked up the phone once to ring up somebody for labour or for going on sites or doing a delivery or anywhere like that. I've got there through graft. Like, I have put myself through uncomfortable positions. I have trusted that I will be where I'm meant to be. I haven't spent a single night on the streets as a result of my decision making. So what my CV, should I say, will always recognise that I have done a year on my own in my own business. I've had some fantastic support, and it's been absolutely incredible. So I'm just going to keep pushing on. I want to get to that stage, and I see people like Gemma and Hutch when they come on, and Trevor Cult with things like that, that I think that, you know, from little acorns, what is it? The little acorns, the great oak trees will grow from. So I'm absolutely convinced that come the end of next year, that even if I weren't doing this full time, I will be expanding on this channel, because that, I feel, is important for me to keep going at this work. Right. So what I'm going to say to you, Gemma, is to just go for it. Just embrace it. Take the feedback from it when you're there live. Don't let the nerves overwhelm you. You're brilliant at what you do, the way that you speak. So just go out there and do whatever you need to do. Just somebody just coming through for you there saying, sing your heart out, sweetheart. Now, whether it's literal or not, it doesn't matter. But what they're saying is just go out there and enjoy the experience. Shine your light. Because if the thing is about you, if people see what you're doing and listen to your story for a while and see what you're doing and that you're pushing on forward, then that'll inspire other people. And that for me is magical. So I just absolutely love that. Right. It's just how I deal with things. I try and tell myself there is not always a why or what. Yeah. Do you know, I agree. I will look at that for myself. I really will look at that. My problem is I'm an over-analyst and an overthinker. When I'm in the right moment, I'm brilliant. I'm invincible. But when the jitters get in, I'm not so good. So I think the thing is with this, in this world that we live in now, you can get so many filters on things and so many things that you can put like a false perception on it, that I just didn't want to get involved in that. I just wanted to be like today's not been a great day energetically for me, but I still know that I want to be part of my own future. I want to design that pathway for myself. And that includes all of the things that we have to go through on a daily basis. All right. So somebody wanted a card and apparently I've missed it. So who wanted a card if they're still on? Give us a shout. Let me know, because I'll do another few minutes because I can smell my tea cooking and I'm going to have a brew because I forgot to bring one up. So I will, if anybody wanted a card there. So somebody said, please. So let's do that. Right. So I'm sat here with all of my 3 decks. I'm going to use tarot, which is my Josephine Ellershaw cards. But what I'm also going to do, Serendipity, is I have some new cards that I was given. They're homemade, but they're charged with energy. So they are numbered between 1. Let's see how many I've got. So I've actually got 7. So I want you, while I'm doing these cards and shuffling. Right. So who? Anna who? Serendipity. Anna who? Is she still on? Can you get her to put a comment on there? Right. There we go. Right. So now I know that where I am, Annabelle. Right. So this message bit for you, I will pull you a couple of cards. Right. But what I also want you to do is pick me a number between 1 and 7. All right, so 2 cards have instantly fallen out for you. And bearing in mind, I bow to your greater knowledge when it comes to tarot reading, because I know that you're a tarot reader of many years of experience. I don't pretend I'm anything. I've just to say I've had 6 years in the business, but these cards seem to respond to me. Right. So I'll do card number 7 first. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right. So when I go to Stafford, there's 2 ladies that mother me and look after me. I normally end up with an inadvertent reading, and I also end up getting a load of presents. Now, they've given me these cards that are homemade, that have got a bangle beading, sort of, if you like, but they've also got healing in the cards. And she said to me that you're ready for working with them, right? Truthfully, I ain't got a clue. I really am, because it's not like any other tarot card that I've used with. So, right. So there's your message for a start. And beautiful colours there. That colouring is black. Black for me is very protective. So my feeling is with this card, Annabelle, is to take time out to assess. All right. Not get overwhelmed by the fear. Listen to your sensible head, the one that knows how to structure. I've had conversations with you, so you know how to structure and plan and put things into place. My feeling is when I'm looking at this is black is like pulling a blanket over yourself while you just sort of take time out from everything that's going on around you. Hugely busy life, right? And I know that to be true. And also when you've got the amount of responsibilities that you've got on around you as well, that huge major change needs time to process. It needs time to sit in its own energy and have a look how it fits in. It's like trying to get the jigsaw puzzle that just needs the big picture. Right. So stop. Right. Don't pause. Stop. Right. You know as well as I do that if you was teaching and you said to somebody that on Monday morning, now that you've got all of your qualifications, you're going out there, you're going to be a tarot reader. Right. That's your job as from Monday morning. I don't know of anybody that I've ever spoke to about any of this that could say to him that they went from going to a day job to working in a spiritual manner within a day or two. They had that bedding in period. As I said, I started out on this full-time route. It's coming up to a year, and there isn't a day goes by where there's part of me that just doesn't go, you know, nippy bum cheeks time, where we're just a little bit anxious and a bit worried. But the thing is, because you're a strategist and you know how to work with life and your lifestyles itself, what you will do is if you come up against an issue, you'll deal with it. All right. Just look at where your heart is driving you. So boundaries, taking time out and putting people in their place where you need them to be while you go through this transition, because it's a change. And that change needs bedding in. Think about, you've torn your tower card down now. You've torn down the moments there, what needed changing. Now you're in the rebuild phase. So if you think about literally putting bricks in, that mortar has got to take time to dry and set in. And that's what you're doing. You'll do it brick by brick. But as long as you do it in your own image and in your own integrity, then you'll be absolutely fine. So you've already done it. So this there, the beautiful 8 of Cups. I was just looking at the number there. Orange at the top there, which is all about your sacral chakra. I keep these things dead simple, even though this is passing on to an American, and I know you don't necessarily do toilet humour. But your guts, I've got 2 jobs. They provide you with information for your intuition of knowing, instinctively knowing, but also it's a great place for processing old crap and getting rid of it. So this card for me, what it actually means is moving forward with confidence past any emotional blockages. Where we're going to do that, the blue is about communication. It's about saying what you need and moving into this bright new dawn, but leaving behind any doubts, worries, or any emotional crap. And how's it going to turn out? Well, we've got the beautiful 3 of Cups, which for me, when I watched you read the other week, you was talking about soul sisters, your soul family, and having people around you that share the same sort of viewpoint as you do. They're in the same place of understanding. So I would be looking at my crew. My crew is very small these days of people that I can 100% trust. But there are people out there that I know that I can go to when I'm having a bit of a wobble. You've got a great family structure, and you've said many times before that you've got a great friendship circle out there. So me, I've been putting my head together with them, and I know that I'm going to be in a place that's spiritually satisfying, because cups are all about emotions there when they overrun. Sometimes we need to, it's like trying to herd cats when the emotions get out of control. So logic here over emotion, and you will be in a place of celebration over these next few months. But it's one of those that it's not going to happen overnight. Do you know what you think? Yeah, absolutely. Now, I want to sort of split the difference with that, because like when I left the prison service, I knew I had to leave mentally, or I was going to have a breakdown. The other stuff that I left, the contracting and the working, I felt I had to leave. I didn't have to, because that's the command. I felt I had to for my progression. What I'd learned from leaving the prison service is I didn't really have a solid plan when I left there. I actually went back to college and learned how to do plastering, which in hindsight wasn't the greatest decision I've ever made. But this time I wanted something in place that when I made that decision where I took a bit of a building block out from underneath me, I wanted something that said that I would be okay to do this. And I just looked at my calendar. I've got work coming in. I know how much money I needed to get through a certain period. And if I got to that period and I hadn't got that money, then I knew I had to make changes. And I've just trusted that all along the line that I'll be looked after. And so far, he says, and all of the rest of it, I've been looked after. And while I've got the support and the love of my family around me, as far as I'm concerned, I can't go wrong. Let me have a look. Yeah, let's see what that says. Right, so I'm coming up to just over the hour. I've had 12 people on there. So to say how much I cocked up at the beginning, thanks very much for sticking with me. Thanks very much for understanding as I've gone along with that little bit of a jitter there. But I just wanted to be honest and truthful. So thank you. Appreciate that, Annabelle. That's very much appreciated. And I'll always do my best for people, whatever state I'm in, because I truthfully love all of the support that I've had. And I just think that some people out there just need that person to stand with them. And in the prison service, because I can only talk about what I remember, I'd go into shit situations with people and I'd stand behind them. Now, there were people out there that were good at initiating and sorting these things out right from like the word go to the end product. Me, I was reactionary. I'd just go in there. I wouldn't have a clue most of the time what was going on, but I'd deal with the situation and then I'd learn from it as I go through. So I've always been a great support act. Right? What I'm learning to do is accept and I used to hate this when people used to say you've got strengths and you've got weaknesses. And I thought, yeah, I can accept that. I can understand it. But the terminology changed slightly, strengths and lesser strengths. Now I thought, that's a bit like wishy-washy, that's a bit crap. But now I realise we do have our strengths and we have our other things that we're not as strong as we would like to be. So the only way that we can get as strong as we would like to be is by learning by experiences. So for me, we either learn or we move on and we experience something different. We don't fail. So we either succeed or we learn. So there's never any failures, and I can process that a little bit better. So, 100%. You've got people on here. You've helped so many people. So absolutely, 100%. I agree with that. There's people around there. Yeah, like you say, your gal pals, your people out there, your wonderful husband, your family. You'll be okay, because the thing is, if you're not okay, you'll make changes. And you'll be okay after that. So sometimes it's just having the faith while things are going okay that it's all right. And then if it's not, make changes. But it's no good preparing for what if. just enjoy life. So what I'm going to do, guys, because I kind of went off on a bit of a tangent there. I suppose I achieved what I wanted to, because I don't want this to just be like a turning over of the card every week. I want to incorporate that, but I want to do more work about my soul guidance, which is working with people at that sort of problem-solving level, working with angelic healing, working with the energies from spirit. And sometimes that just includes sitting there listening, doing a bit of counselling. But I just wanted people to know me. It's a live advert. I've loved everything that everybody's put on here tonight. Thanks very much. All right, let me just do that one, because, as they say, let's do what we can. I've just noticed we're just slightly losing the light a little bit here, so probably next week. Thank you, I appreciate that. So for me, serendipity on that. Pink means love from the spiritual world, and purple I always relate straight to the third eye. Something's just shot right out there, Dizzy. So it's development of the third eye, so I'm looking forward to that. So that'll be nice as things come in with the changes. Right, so Dizzy, we're still there. Cards between, I'll take number 7 off. So I've got the option of 1 to 6. 1 to 6. That one, put that one back, right, and that one off. 1 to 6 for your lovely little card, because I say they're all experiments, and I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with them just yet. So these new ones, I've got another box in there as well that she's told me I need to look at and have a look at. So I think I'll incorporate them into my reading. So number 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. So you've got 3 colours on here. You've got blue, you have got green, and you have got purple. So for me, when I'm looking at that without looking at what the message on the card is that's written down there, we've got the purple for the development of the third eye. The third eye, where you can see, sense, feel, touch, and experience everything in there. It's wonderful, that spiritual connection. Don't get it confused with analytical thoughts and things like that. So this is, I'm feeling, is a message about your confidence is now starting to step into your true self. Beautiful light colours around there. So working in light, love, and upliftment, and trusting that these people that you're putting the messages out to in the spiritual world are stepping closer than you realise. I would just be looking at acknowledging them. So peace. If we can just get that right there. Peace, serenity, and harmony. And that's your band there. What I was reliably informed on, that as I use these, whatever these crystals actually represent that are on these beads, the energy will be sent out to the person that receives them. I don't truthfully know what they all are or what they're about, but what I was told was that these cards are actually loaded with the intention from the person that's made them. She lives in a place where she's on ley lines, so there's a lot of spiritual energy coming through. It is changing configuration at the moment, so it's heightening for everybody. So take the healing as it's coming through. Your 2 cards are, well, you've got 2 cups, 2 emotional cards. So Ace of Cups, what fills your spiritual cup up? What gives you that burning desire to live your life? What is it that makes your heart sing? I always look at this card as well as bright new beginnings with things, and it's a change of something. So if you think about an idea about a relationship, if you're wanting it to go up to a next level, if you're wanting something to change, we've got to start it somewhere, because aces for me are great, but they're an initial thing. It's where we've not quite gone from the thought to the action stage. So we're bringing in new emotional experiences. What fills your emotional cup up? The other thing is, I think about relationships that are viewed in a different way, and it can be quite as simple as, like, some people get like really tied up with this: am I going to meet a new partner? Am I going to do this, that, and that? Right. It could just be a new relationship with the way that you think about yourself. So if you were a negative self-talker, for instance, try being nicer to yourself. Try being more supportive, and just look how that energy changes around you. It's also about heightening your intuition. So I'm getting this feeling there that whatever it is that you do is going up to that next level. So take that energy as it's being sent in. Okay. my guide, and I don't know where you're from, Dizzy, but basically what I'm going to translate across to you from English is deal with the stress head that's around you, and don't let this current situation overwhelm you. Don't own stress that's not yours. Right. Communication there as well is key. Right. So I'm going to have to say to you, Lady of the Lake, there now I'm being called for tea. So I'm going to have to say no on that one. I will acknowledge the fact that you've asked for a card, but I'm being called for tea. So I will finish off with this card for you there where it was, Dizzy. That I've got the 4. I've got the 4 of cups there. And that for me is about a state of being in me, you know. And if you don't know what me is, that is just like, I'm a bit disillusioned. I'm a bit flat. There's nothing really wrong, but it's not quite flowing either easy. It's not flowing easily either. See, even the words weren't coming round in the right way there. So this is about organising yourself emotionally. What does fill your spiritual cup up? What changes do you need to acknowledge that do need making? So if you're in this state of disillusionment, boredom, or things like that, don't focus on the one negative that's going on around there. Put that into the place where you can solve it, deal with it. Because 4 is a great number for stability, but we can also stabilise things there that we don't particularly want in our life. So this is like proportionate, I think, putting things into whatever space they need to be in, but focusing on moving forward and heightening your spiritual experience. And as whoever was talking to me there was saying, deal with the stress head. Right. So as I've been called for my meal, which I put in and then forgotten about, thank goodness somebody's downstairs and is dealing with it. I just want to say thank you for you guys, for your understanding and your support and all of the sharing and that. If you know anybody that's interested in this sort of thing, please like and share my page for the subscribers. And the more and more people that I get on here, the more and more people I'd like to reach. So I want to say thank you for everybody that's been on. I really appreciate your time, guys. Much love and light to you. And I will see you the next time I manage to figure out the buttons. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Much love and light out to you all. Bless you.